Hello, I'm Councilwoman Laura Pastor from District 4. I am here with our new Chief of Police, Jeri Williams. I'm so excited to be with her.
Thanks.
Welcome, Jeri.
Thank you so much.
And welcome home.
Thank
it's so
you.
great that you're back. I mean, it's exciting.
It's excited. It's an honor. It's a privilege. And thank you so much for having me on this TV show with you. So I think it's great.
I'm excited because this is the first TV show, and I was able to get you. So I'm so excited about that. So can you give me a bit of your history so that our audience knows your background?
Gotcha. So born and raised in Phoenix, graduate of Maryville High School. So I grew up on the west side. So hello, all the west side Maryville folks. Went to Arizona State University. Became a police officer, not because that was kind of the lineage of my family, but just I was looking for pay equity. I was looking to give back to the community. At the time, I'll be honest, Councilwoman, I didn't think I was going to be the police chief, let alone a supervisor, but just loved the opportunity of every day engaging and interacting with the community and trying to make a difference. Rose through the ranks, spent 22 years at Phoenix PD, took a leap of faith, is what I will say, and became the police chief in Oxnard, California. Left my family, left stability, left everything, I will say, and spent 5.5 great years in Oxnard, California, gained valuable experience, and was blessed and fortunate to be named the police chief here, and got sworn in on Friday. So great ride. Great ride.
It's been a great ride, yes.
It has.
The exciting piece about it, or the interesting piece about it, is first of all, you're a native.
Yes.
And a graduate of Phoenix Union High School District, so I do need to get you signed up as an alumni.
Gotcha.
Secondly, Go Devils,
yes, Devils.
ASU. So proud of the fact that you're a product of our community and that you went up the ranks. Yeah. But what made you choose to be a police woman?
Wow. Great question.
Because during the time that you entered, there were probably not many women entering that field.
Agreed. So it was at a time when the city was pushing people of color and women. I came through a program called the Recruitment of Minority Personnel, which was the opportunity to learn the system, if you will, to understand what the police academy was going to be like and a little bit more of what law enforcement was. And honestly just took advantage of the opportunity to have no day that's the same. Very much like your job as a councilwoman, no day is ever the same for you. And took advantage of that opportunity as well as, so I was raised in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, and my mother talked to me a lot about pay equity. So if you choose a position, choose a field, choose one that's going to pay you equitably as that of your male counterparts. So I probably didn't even think much about the danger part or other things, but just a great opportunity to engage with people, and I had so much fun. I had so much fun in patrol. Many of us will tell you that some of the best times that we ever had was in patrol. So just opportunities presented themselves, and that's how and why I engaged and kind of got interested in law enforcement. And 28 years later, here I am.
Yeah, because it's a non-traditional job for that time of a woman.
Definitely.
How did your family handle that? Because the time that you entered as a police officer, I'm assuming you were single.
I was, yes.
And as you evolved through your career, you got married, have 2 sons.
Yes.
How did you manage balancing your life and patrol?
So my mother was very upset when I came home and let her know that I wanted to be a police officer, because at the time, it definitely wasn't perceived as the job that you would go to after graduating from college, let alone a woman. When I graduated from the police academy, my father thought I was going to be a dispatcher as I was going through the training academy, and he was in awe when he saw the gun on my hip at graduation. So it was very awkward and odd. No one in my family is in law enforcement. As far as balancing the whole family piece, I am very fortunate to have extended family, current family here. Cody and I, as you know, was a former councilman. So Cody and I used to do the child switch off on 16th Street. So when I was working shift work, every time I got promoted, I went to a night shift position. So when I was a Central City Precinct sergeant, I would meet Cody on 16th Street, and we would exchange cars because the boys would be in the car after me taking care of them and getting them dressed and ready for bed. So we would exchange cars on 16th Street, and he would take the boys home, put them in bed, and then I would go to work from 9 to 7 o'clock in the morning on shift work. So help a family, help a balance, but, and you know this, anything you want badly, you'll figure out a way to make it work. You yourself are a mother, so you figure out ways to make it work. I was just fortunate to have people who could help and assist in family and extended family.
So that is true.
Yes.
People ask me how I manage, especially raising a family, and I have many systems, and I have many, obviously family and friends that come into play.
Absolutely.
And then others that understand my life that come in and help me.
Yes.
And so that is one of the fortunate things to have is family and friends that understand our lives and are able to help us and mentor, mentor our kids.
Agreed.
It does take a village.
It does.
And sometimes I'm not always the best one to be the best mentor, and realizing that and being able to let go of allowing others to mentor our kids. So you've done a great job.
Thank you.
Can you tell me where your two sons are currently and what they're doing?
Great. So I'll start with the youngest son. So the youngest son is finishing up his degree at University of California at Santa Barbara. So I got to see him this month, so that was exciting. So hi, little Cody. I don't know if you're going to watch that. And then Alan, my oldest son, is playing with the Phoenix Suns. So at last night's game, he scored. So we were really excited and really happy. But it's so true what you said about it takes a village to raise your family and your kids, and it demonstrates strength, Councilwoman, when you mention just letting go and having others help and assist you through the process. That is so real and so honest, and if more women would do what you're suggesting, I think we would have a better community.
So speaking about community and it's taking a village, because I also think you being as a first woman chief for the city of Phoenix is great, but that's not necessarily your identity.
Agreed.
African American, first African American, understand those roles, but that's not really who we are. It's really about the bigger picture.
Agreed.
And when I say it takes a village to really run our city and protect our city. And so one of the areas that I am most concerned about is really protecting our neighborhoods. And what does that look like? And what does that mean? And who is involved in protecting our neighborhoods? Could you answer that?
So that's actually a great segue into engaging in community engagement and outreach. It does take a village to run a city. It does take different parts of the community, the faith-based community, the business community, the elected officials, law enforcement, fire, streets, planning, parks, rec. I mean, I could go on and on about all the city services. But what I love about the city of Phoenix right now is we're really focused on being one voice, one city. So when we talk about neighborhood and how to engage people, perhaps instead of having one game day, we have a multitude of game days. We have a series of game days where community members can pick and choose where they want to engage us and introduce others to block watches or neighborhood watches. It's going to take everyone working together, being able to step out of our comfort zone a little bit sometimes too, because sometimes we get stuck in this is the way it's going to be and this is how we've done it. I'm looking forward to working with you in expanding the programs and engaging the community and bringing others together, because I know that we're doing very well. I know we can do better.
So Chief, trust is very important. And so I'm reading a book by Stephen Covey named Trust. And in reading it, it talks about how you build trust. Trust is not given, trust is built.
Agree.
But trust can also be lost in a matter of seconds. And also acknowledging the loss of being able to rebuild trust.
Agreed. And
I think that's kind of what's happening within our community. And so how would you go about, what are your next steps of going about and building our trust initiative?
And everything you're saying is absolutely true. It can be lost in a moment's notice, but there is the opportunity to build on that. So we're engaging with different neighborhood groups. I'm meeting with all of my command staff next week to talk about how do we move forward in regaining and rebuilding. We do have some trust banks out there that we've maintained and we've managed, but at the same time there are some levels and some groups who really don't trust and believe that we're just in what we do. And again, it's one conversation at a time, one incident at a time, and it's really showing people who Jeri is or showing people who Laura is versus Chief Williams or the Councilwoman. And I think that's the nexus of how we regain that and rebuild that.
So in talking about that, what triggered me was really seeing our soft side. And what I mean by that is really listening. And really having an understanding of what they are feeling and what they're sensing within their neighborhood.
Agreed.
And not just saying, okay, and this is what we're going to do. It's more of, okay, let's come with the solution together and let's now put it into play and see if it works.
But the key word, Councilwoman, you just said was together. So it's not me saying this is what I think is important as far as trust. It's not the community saying, it's us saying it together. So I'm looking forward to working with you and rebuilding and regaining that trust. And I know my employees are just as excited as I am.
I am too. I'm really, really looking forward to rebuilding that within our community and have our community thrive to a level that we've never seen it.
Agreed.
And really be a national model.
I would love that.
I am Councilwoman Laura Pastor. You can contact me at my office at 602-262-7447.